Hey everyone, this is CJ and Todd from the Pick and Roll Show on ballbeforall.net, bringing you the latest NBA news. So Todd, first things first, NBA All-Star Weekend just happened this past weekend. What did you think of the game?
The game itself, like all the other All-Star games, no defense, a lot of offense, a lot of dunks.
Right. I thought it was very competitive myself, Todd. Like you said, no defense, but I mean, King LeBron, he had 36 points, but came down to the wire, Todd. He didn't take the last shot.
No.
What do you think about that?
He led his team back in the fourth, but yeah, didn't take the last shot. Had that late turnover, which costed them. You think he should have took the shot?
Well, Todd, I think he should have because we love LeBron and we want him. He wants to be a champion.
Mm-hmm.
So Todd, in the biggest game, I guess you can say the biggest game with the biggest stars.
Yeah.
He's one of the biggest stars. He doesn't take the last shot, Todd. He shouldn't pass it up. I'm sorry.
He gets criticized, but I think it's not as big of a deal because it is an exhibition game. But if it was a playoff game or a finals game, he should be definitely
He'd get
taking
a lot of
shot,
heat too if he didn't take that. No pun intended. But Todd, Kobe Bryant is actually kind of forcing him to take the shot, and he wouldn't.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you? I mean, was he scared to take the shot? Did he just want to,
I guess maybe he was scared. He was not willing to take it. Maybe he just wanted to pass. Who knows? But he didn't take the shot. Does Kobe not respect the shot?
That's true.
That's a question too.
Well, and
what about the foul on?
Okay, that foul. I don't know what Dwayne Wade's doing there, but this, as we're saying, no defense played, a no contact game, and Dwayne Wade goes and breaks Kobe's nose and even concusses him. So
not intentional. Though.
Not intentional, Todd. But do I think that he could have kind of laid off? Well, yes.
I like the play. I think that was when the East was kind of making their run. So
yeah, that's a good point.
And he said that. I think he said that Kobe fouled him hard twice previous. I didn't get to actually watch the game, but
and I don't know if you know, he just recently apologized today, and this happened on Sunday.
Yeah. So. I mean, is there an apology even needed? I mean, it wasn't a shit. I mean,
no, it wasn't called flagrant, was it? So do you need an apology? Maybe not.
It's the right thing to do, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Well, two other events. The slam dunk contest was one. Not as hyped as in previous years because not many players. Amon Shumpert had to back out, so they added Paul George. Todd, what was your favorite dunk?
I like the Derek Williams off the side of the backboard. It's 360 from Rubio. I thought that was pretty good. The Jeremy Evans one was obviously good too with the two balls.
And it was from his teammate Gordon Hayward, who was sitting facing the opposite way. He threw both balls up in the air behind him, so that was pretty nice.
That's impressive. It's just that the All-Star, the dunk contest, when you want to see people like LeBron and Durant or Westbrook in it, and then they're not, it's already taken away from the hype from the beginning. So the dunkers weren't these well-known people, but the dunks were still decent to put on a show. I want to see LeBron in there maybe some year. Yeah,
and I agree. Like, why would LeBron be sitting in the stands at the time in a suit? But then again, Todd, like Blake said, he had so much going on. Blake did. He had to play in the rookie sophomore game Friday night. Then he had to play in the game Sunday night, and he had to do all these promos that he does, for commercials and for the weekend himself. But I agree. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd like to see LeBron, Blake, Iguodala from a couple years past, and even DeMar DeRozan, who's been, this phenomenal, high-rise dunker. So, I mean, those would be, Todd, what do you think? 4 potentially great dunkers in that contest?
I would like to see, at least one of them now, because now we're getting Chase Budinger.
Who has 6 career NBA dunks, and he's white.
Derek Williams, Paul George, and Jeremy Evans. But yeah, I would like to see LeBron or Blake back in it. I mean, Blake could have went out there and warmed up for 5 minutes. His dunks would have been better than any of those, so would have made it more entertaining.
Okay, and then the 3-point shootout, Todd. I mean, mostly shooters not even known to to have a high percentage in 3-point field goals. At the championship was Kevin Love, who's a 7-foot center, and Kevin Durant, who shoots 36% from 3-point range. And Todd, that's not bad, but it's not the Caponos and the Corvus who shoot over 40%. Even Westbrook. Todd, what would you think about this 3-point shootout?
I didn't actually get to watch. I saw the highlights, but it's impressive to see Kevin Love winning, even over Durant. A center. It was just definitely impressive to see him win. I didn't think he had that chance to win it. I even forget who else was in.
Yeah, I didn't get to see it either. I'm not sure.
The two Chalmers and James Jones. I thought James Jones had a shot at repeating, but
that's a good shooter.
They went into the tiebreaker and Love won. So props to Kevin Love.
Good job. Now, Todd, a participant not in the actual NBA All-Star game, but in All-Star Weekend, a late edition, Jeremy Lin. Now,
who's that?
Todd, we all know who Jeremy Lin is. Now, I guess we can talk about your thoughts, my thoughts, but I mean, I'll first start off by saying this kid did come out of nowhere, okay, almost being cut and everything. And yes, the hype is well deserved. You know, Tim Tebow and Jeremy Lin actually does kind of carry his team because he has to play defense as well.
Right.
But Todd, what do you think about Jeremy Lin's game in general?
I think he is well with the ball. He can drive. He can. He's crafty with the ball. He can shoot. But the thing that he has to work on is his turnovers. He's averaging, I think, 6 a game. Didn't he have 6 in one half, Todd, against the Heat? Yeah, I think it was against the Heat. It's a high number, and I mean that could be for him, just stepping into a starting role and having played 5 minutes.
He's a new kid on the block.
So I mean that's expected, but you got to cut him down at some point. But he's a phenomenal talent.
Okay. I agree. I mean, Jeremy Lin is, kind of the king. He's been the king in New York the past couple weeks, but you know what, Todd? It's not going to mean anything if he doesn't, at least bring him deep into a playoff run. So
with Carmelo back, it'll be interesting to see. I don't think it keeps up his production. I think he's like a 15 points, maybe 6 assists, 7 assists a night.
Carmelo still needs to get his 16, 17 shots a night as well, and I hope Jeremy Lin doesn't take that from him.
No.
But,
do you think it'll keep up his production, or?
I think Jeremy Lin knows that Carmelo is the shooter, he's the scorer on the team, and I think Jeremy Lin will take less shots to feed Carmelo more.
Right.
So
J.R. Smith as well.
Exactly. That's even another late addition to the team. Now, leading into that, Todd, we're going to talk about our teams and players to look out for this second half of the season that started last night. My team is the New York Knicks. Todd, right now I think they sit as the 7th seed in the East. Well, I have a feeling that they could jump potentially. They could jump potentially to the 3rd seed if the Sixers start struggling. So yeah, that Atlantic Coast Conference or the Atlantic Coast Division will come down to either the Knicks or the Sixers. But I feel like the Knicks will make that push. So go off that, Todd. What do you think your team is?
I like Portland to kind of make a run in the second half.
Okay.
I think they're in the 8th seed right now. I just feel like they have a bunch of players who are still forming together. Jamal Crawford from the Hawks coming in, and they'll get acclimated. Greg Oden's out again after playing.
Gerald Wallace has been
good. Gerald Wallace. They have a lot of talent on that team. I think it'll come together in the second half if they try to make a run. Also, the Nuggets, they're extremely young. Ty Lawson,
they are.
I like Danilo Gallinari a lot. When he puts up what he could put up, they're a tough team to beat. I remember they were high in the West. I think 3 or 4 early on. In the season.
Was that before all their players went over to Europe?
Yeah, right. That was right before. Well, right at the beginning of the season, maybe a couple of weeks in, and their offense was looking like it always does, phenomenal. And I think they're going to have a good second half of the Nuggets.
Good. Now,
what's up? Yeah, go ahead.
Players to watch, Todd. I will start. I think Andrea Bargnani. You may not have heard of him lately because he's been injured. He's supposedly coming back. In the next week or two?
A couple games he'll be back.
Couple games. So you want to know his stats, Todd? Playing about 10 to 13 games this first half of the season. 24 points per game around. Now, Todd, on a Raptors team that, yes, doesn't have many other scoring options, but also, near the cellar of the East, up in Canada, Andrea Bargnani is a huge part to that team. Now, I have a feeling him coming back is going to spark that team. Not to say make a playoff run, Todd, but just, he's...
Rejuvenate that.
Rejuvenate that, exactly. And he's going to be the player to look for me in the NBA.
Good shooter. I like Brook Lopez coming back. He played.
Oh, wow.
I think it was last night they played. They played the Mavericks. 38 against them. And
38 points.
It's impressive.
Was that his first game back?
I think it was first game back. Yeah.
Wow.
And with Duran there, he's just a presence down low. That if he was there at the beginning of the season and not injured, he was injured for a while. I think they either traded Brook Lopez for Dwight Howard by now, or they're sitting better than the Nets are right now. So
I agree, definitely.
I look for him to be he's a decent big man in the East, and if he stays there, I look for him to have a good second half rest of his career.
Good. Now, on the opposite side of the spectrum, Todd, teams that you think might fall in the second half, I am going to have to say the Indiana Pacers. Now, the Indiana Pacers, Todd, sit as the number 3 or 4 team.
They pass the Sixers.
They pass the Sixers, and then they pass the Hawks, too. They're leading their division, the Hawks. Okay. Indiana, Todd, I have a feeling now. You got to look at their second half schedule. They have to go to San Antonio, go to LA to play the Clippers and the Lakers. They have to go to Houston to play the Rockets, and then they have to play the Heat and the Hawks at least 3 more times in their division. Todd, I just see that as a tough schedule for an Indiana team that doesn't have too many scoring options besides say Danny Granger and even Paul George. So
David West,
David West, yep. So that is my team that I think is gonna fall.
I think the Magic are sitting fourth or
fifth.
Around there. Yeah, fifth, I think now. But regardless if they trade Dwight or not, which we'll get into that, I don't think they will. But even regardless, I think they're going to fall. I think the talk about that is going to bring the team down. I didn't think they were going to be as well as they were coming into the season. I thought they'd struggle to, maybe that 7th, 8th seed somehow. But they hit a rough patch and then they hit a hot stretch.
Yep. So
now they're the 5th seed. So I look for them to kind of fall, really not depending on what happens with Dwight. But
good. Well, now let's get into that. Here's our great debate for the evening. Dwight Howard, traded or not traded before the end of the March deadline? Todd, you say not traded.
No.
I say traded. Now, I will give you a couple points why I think he's going to be traded. One, I have a feeling ever since day one of the Magic season, Dwight's been wanting to leave. And yes, it hasn't happened yet. But he wants to be on a championship team, and I feel that he knows that he's not going to be on one with the Magic.
Yeah.
So there's been talks about him going to L.A. Dwight, he's an actor, he's a comedian. He wants to be in L.A. playing with Kobe and a championship caliber team, but also the nightlife. He could be, filming for a hit movie like Shaq and Kazam. So,
I just think that if the Magic are going to be around where they are in that 5th seed and they have a chance to somehow squeak into the Eastern Conference Finals, why would the Magic want to mess that up in his last year? They're not going to get anything for Dwight if they keep him and he walks in free agency. But, can you really afford to risk a season getting rid of him? You're not going to have a chance to make any noise in the playoffs if he's not on your team. So
yeah, but now, now what do you think if Dwight Howard? Do you think Jameer Nelson is the best option for him on his team? Because if he goes to LA, he's going to have Kobe, and if he goes to New Jersey, the other team that they're talking about, he's going to have Deron Williams dishing the ball. Do you think Jameer Nelson is the answer?
But I don't really think he is. But it's not what he wants, what the team wants, so we got to figure that out.
What is this? We have a caller coming in.
We have somebody calling about, we're going to do finals predictions. Hello. We lost him.
We lost him. Anyways. We will have, now the last part of our show, we're going to get into the NBA finals predictions. I know it's,
halfway.
couple months away, but we're going to start with, I'll give my predictions.
Good.
Todd, I think that the Heat from the East, no team from the East besides the Bulls has a chance to beat the Heat, so it will be the Heat coming out of the East. And I have a feeling that the Clippers, Lob City, will make it out of the West just because of the young team. Nobody can guard Blake and DeAndre down low, and Chris Paul has been an MVP caliber player this year.
I like the Heat as well. You said it, no one else can compete with them. I don't even think the Bulls are able to compete with them right now. The way they're playing defensively, offensively, they're a fast break machine. Defensively, they swarm to the ball. And I like the Spurs. This is the same prediction I had last year.
Last year's pick.
And nobody ever talks about the Spurs, but they're always around the top 4 in the West. And if they go under the radar again and they hop into the first round, they get a victory. They're another series victory, and then they're in the conference finals.
Well, and they have an aging roster, but I just feel like they're there, like you said, they're there every year, and they're going to be competing. And they're with this, schedule. Greg Popovich is still getting time to rest his players down. He actually, rested them a whole second half against the team, and they got blown out with Portland.
Right.
So
I think Popovich has them coaching right, and he has that team on the right track to make. We said every year they're one last run, but they have Duncan, Parker, Ginobili. They're getting old, but they're experienced. So.
Well, so now we both agree on the Heat, and then we kind of have a diverse side in the West. So we're gonna try and get our caller back to see what he thinks. Maybe he'll have a different kind of, angle on it. So.
We gotta change our calling phone systems.
Yeah, somehow don't get much reception out here in Salisbury. But well, it looks like we're not gonna get him back. So
next time on the show, I guess.
Next time we're gonna have to, we'll keep our finals predictions.
Please leave your message.
Okay. So anyway, guys, to wrap up the show, it was a great weekend in NBA, and Todd, I'd like to show some love out for the Salisbury Falcons, though. They went down tonight to a Shenandoah Valley team that just came out ready to play, and a Salisbury Falcon team that me and Todd have kind of, been attached to all season, covering them for the press, and I just want to, give give a couple shout outs. Brent and Lloyd,
Did you think?
great senior seasons. Max too, I'm sorry, but you two, you'll go on to do bigger and better things. But I mean, sucks you had to lose, not make districts, but we saw a lot of great games from you guys. So anyway,
when are we gonna hop on next? Next week?
Yep. Next week we should be back on same time next week, Wednesday night.
Hit us up with any ideas for what we want to talk about next week.
And make sure you check out it's ballb4all.net. That's B, the letter, and the number 4.
Yeah.
And check into our articles too. We write. So
constantly.
Peace, guys.
Thanks.